Welcome back, everybody, to Real Time for the Real Everyday Movie Fan. I'm Josh Williams.
I'm Ryan Murphy.
And I'm James Sheridan.
Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. We're getting up a day late. Ryan, I guess, is feeling a little under the weather, so we needed to stretch another day. But we're here to give you our spoiler review, I should say, of Daredevil Episode 8. Now, I had a feeling going into... I honestly had a feeling going into this that it was going to be the Punisher showing up again. I was going to see Frank Castle again. I guess we're waiting now for the last episode. This is the penultimate episode for episode 9, the end of the season. And I can't remember which one of you said it, but one of you said you're pretty sure that Bullseye was going to show up. And
we knew he was in the previews and stuff.
Yeah, true. So just so you guys know, again, this is your spoiler warning. If you have not seen the episode yet, what are you doing here? Go back and watch it, and then come back and join in the conversation. Now, before we get into our review, also, if you like what you watch here and you like our content here, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so you receive all of our great content we have for you here on Real Time. Got that out of the way. I really liked this episode a lot. I know it wasn't all the fun-filled action, but I think it goes a lot into the story and the characters that we have here. Certain things I don't. Again, it's not a mixed bag, but there are a couple things I wasn't quite fond of. We're gonna start off here with Ryan first. You saw the episode. What'd you think?
I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's getting better, but it's also better. We're still asking better towards what? Like I said last week, I'm pretty sure these last few episodes are just going to be, I don't know, and then some shit goes down with Daredevil versus the anti-vigilante task force, and then this week's like, no, it's Bullseye, and what's Bullseye do? He tries to shoot Kingpin. It's like, even that didn't go anywhere, and it's just sort of like, we've been saying this for a while now, like all stories are kind of, on a line, they're on a trajectory. This just seems to be an amorphous blob of stuff that goes on in different episodes. There is, we've been saying for a long time now, because of some Easter eggs that have been dropping stuff, that Foggy's coming back. This is the first one that's kind of shed a little bit of doubt on that, just because I don't know, it's like, well, he just still could be, but it's like the twist was that someone else had him killed, or he was, I thought, I don't know, that there was a twist that it wasn't a setup. It was it was very much planned by Vanessa Fisk. And I think watching her, that's one of the things about this, is you're watching her sort of go down. Like, we saw that happen in the Netflix series, where she was an honest art dealer before she met Wilson Fisk, and she's just gone down this complete Michael Corleone sort of journey of her own, where she's just become this evil person because of because of him in her life, basically. Last episode left on, are they gonna try and kill each other now? And now it's like, nah, they good. They're better than ever. No, it's just kind of, it's one of those things. It's not hard to watch. It's enjoyable enough when you watch it. It's not, cringy or anything. It's just, I'm not sure what the hell's happening. And I just think, I think there is going to be. You reminded me, the Punisher is supposed to be in it, but he hasn't been in it until the last episode. So I think, not as the Punisher, at least, guns blazing. So I think there'll actually be a different climax, and the anti-vigilante task force will be like, "Hey, what about us?" And then they'll cut to Frank and be like, "Motherfuckers, that's what you get for using my symbol."
Let's give you my symbol, motherfuckers.
So I don't know when the Punisher turned into Melvin Van Peebles, but so that's just sort of my take on that. Yeah.
He walks up to the main guy, a part of the task force that we see all the time. Punisher walks up to him. You guys ask yourself this: did I fire one shot? I can't remember. It's from Dirty Harry. I can't remember what it's from. The quote exactly.
It might help if you watch the movie.
Yeah, it would help I watch the movie. I just know the scene, so I just forgot the quote.
No, you don't. That's the thing. You really don't.
I don't. Well, fine. You know what? Fine. You ruined it for me. Thank you, dick. Anyway, James, you saw the episode yourself. This is the penultimate episode. Does it help you from the previous episode, or are you still...
If I had to boil this episode down to a one-sentence review, it'd be, there's the plot.
Okay.
Been waiting all season for this shit to happen, and all of a sudden, everything sort of all happens within like a 20-minute time span, and it's like, where was the build up to any of this? Like, Ryan says Vanessa and Fisk are clearly okay with each other, and I'm not entirely
Me
convinced of
neither.
that.
I'm not entirely sure of that either.
Given that he and everybody else was completely surprised by the fact that, well, I mean, I don't think he even knows yet, but like nobody seemed to be even aware that she was the one responsible for Foggy's death.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced Foggy's dead. Um, but they drop these hints that, you know, Foggy was celebrating a win, basically an automatic win for him in court before it even happened when all of this went down. And like it just sent Matt on this weird spiral of like insanity where he goes to approach Fisk while having the weirdest relationship conflict with the psych, which again, I am so bored by that relationship. It keeps getting in the way of actual story. I'm
Yeah.
so bored by Fisk. It keeps getting in the way of actual story. Um, and right now, like BB seems to be a little more involved in things. And I'm curious about this like alternate pen name she's going for and what that implies. And of course, the entire episode is about, you know, Bullseye sort of escaping his sort of conviction and getting out, and of course being super deadly, taking a shot at Fisk. And surprisingly, the episode ends on this wonderful little cliffhanger of Mad jumping in front of the bullet for reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
So
And
I
we'll get there, I guess.
Mhm.
But again, it's like I wish some of this had been peppered into a few other episodes. There was a little bit more build up to this stuff. They're developing this relationship with the character that I believe is his long lost son or something. And there's even some. It doesn't connect to him, but there was some weird sort of like focus on roses, which is a motif with his character in the comics, unrelated to him, but it's still. As soon as I saw those roses, I'm like, are they actually doing it? And I got all kind of excited, but no, it's just a rose garden and
yeah.
in the jail, and it's like I really want to see these pieces connect, and I really want to see where this is going, but it's like you're on your 8th episode of 9 episodes, and only now are we sort of getting to intriguing plot and story. And I realize that I've in the previous episodes, our previous couple reviews, I kind of gave it a pass that okay, this isn't the ongoing story that I thought it was going to be, that it's, you know, much more episodic, but it's like, but now we're seeing those pieces come together, and it's like, why couldn't that have been part of the plot all along?
Yeah.
Built up a little bit more, given a little more development and whatnot. Um, I'm really missing Karen and Foggy right now because they were great in previous seasons for doing sort of investigative work while Matt was doing the sort of crime fighting work. And I guess BB's kind of filling that role, but we don't see much of her unless she's like doing this sort of BB on the street thing or flirting with Fisk's potential son, now deputy mayor.
Yeah.
Which
Which
was
is
kind
crazy.
of a weird move, but at the same time, it's like
he's got someone who's given him undying loyalty.
yeah, no, I understand why Fisk is doing it. It's a little out of pocket, but it's like um I want to see what it's going to develop as the story, um, especially because I don't think he's ready either for this position. Um, and I have a feeling he's going to screw it up and it's going to destroy his relationship with Fisk.
Mm.
And that will bring out sort of, if he is Richard Fisk, as I believe, it'll bring out his sort of Blood Rose character, I guess. I don't know, maybe not. I could be completely off, and this is just a giant red herring. But I've been seeing articles of people who are sort of leaning into the same theory I am now.
Okay.
But yeah, like by now, I feel like we should have seen like Frank should have been much more present throughout the story. Like
I agree.
the little bit that we got with him earlier in the season was great, but it's like he's almost going to come out of nowhere, I guess. And it's like it, I'm starting to feel like the aspects of like it's very clear to me, and we've mentioned this previously, that this season was meant to be one thing, and then they went back and sort of like tried to plug in bits from the old show, including Frank, including Foggy, including Karen, including recasting Vanessa back to the original actress rather than the actress that they um, had when they started Born Again. And I'm liking some of those things, how they're piecing in, but other parts are like Karen just completely disappearing from the story. And I understand from a character perspective why, but it's like I think the story really could have used her, really could have, it's and especially as a moral compass for Matt, as she's always been, where she kind of pushes him to not dive too deep into the violence kind of thing. Um,
I just wanted to
I
interject.
guess like the psych is sort of
Yeah.
trying to be that, but it's like I just don't care. Whereas like Karen, we have an established relationship, and it's like that would have been a way better story than having her for one episode and then disappear completely.
Right.
I don't know. Some of it just feels like they're trying to fit pieces into places that it doesn't quite fit, and it kind of stands out. Other ones like Vanessa's stuff has been great, and then the twist about Foggy I think is a good, interesting twist. But it's like, where is this going? We only have one episode left. I'm not super compelled by the way you've plotted this out and how things have turned out, and it's like I really wish you had like threaded some of this stuff a little bit better and
Or
segued
just
a
make
little
it
bit
shorter.
better.
Just make it 4 or 5 episodes. I mean, hell, you spend less money doing that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
to pay for it. But I just wanted to. I don't know why I feel the need to interject this, but the whole thing about Karen being his moral compass. Of course, you're right, but that's just such a funny thing considering that in the comics she goes off to California, becomes a porn star, becomes a heroin addict, and sells Matt's secret identity to Fisk.
I mean, that was character assassination.
That's Frank Miller.
And I'm very grateful that they haven't done that in the series, even though it looked early on like every instance of her getting in any sort of trouble. I'm like, oh god, are they going to kill Karen? Are they killing Karen? Please don't kill Karen. Don't fucking Gwen Stacy this. We don't have to kill her.
That was Kevin Smith. It was Frank Miller that fucked up her character and made her sell his identity for a fix of heroin and did all that. But then she came back and he like took her, but they got back together after that. Like that's fucking forgiving. and then Kevin Smith killed her, and they were like, "You fucking killed a character that's older than you." And he's like, "Yep."
So it doesn't have to happen, and I'm glad it hasn't. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like Daredevil needed more of the old show intertwined in this, and I understand that they were trying to salvage what they'd already done with including some of the older stuff because they wanted to tie it back. But it's like I don't feel like it was done adequately enough in certain instances. And again, I give them credit for Vanessa being so integral to things and being so intertwined in things. And again, this Foggy twist is a great little twist that's seemingly plot relevant, but I still don't know where it's going, and I don't know, like, other than there being the obvious standoff between Punisher, Daredevil, Bullseye, and whatever this squad of thugs is. Like, I don't understand what the overarching story for this season really is, and I had been ready to give up on there being one, but it's like now they're trying to make it work, and it's like,
yeah. Again, I can get your complaints and some people whose complaints online. My biggest problem is when people outright just claim this episode was bad, and it was not. I mean, it is a good.
I don't think it was bad. I'm just.
Oh no, I'm not
saying.
No, I'm not saying you guys are. There's some people online, some reviewers who are just saying this episode was trash and it wasn't good. That's far from it. The acting was incredible. The editing was superb. They brought back the part where you listen and like it did the camera work with the letterboxing, certain things like that. And
the bit where Fisk was utilizing Daredevil's sort of hearing ability,
yes,
to kind of taunt him, that was really well done. I really enjoyed that bit.
That was incredible. And also, I still love the story with Fisk. I mean, the whole part where he brought Vanessa to choose between him and Adam, essentially, between a key and a gun. Like, I loved that part personally. I did. It's a good character point for at least not only for him to kind of regain control of his house, essentially, quote unquote house, but also his life. Because either way, like, I feel like, oh, wait till we go on, honey. I'll be out in a minute. You can say hi to the camera real fast, but you gotta go. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, go on, honey.
But Dad, I don't know.
No, it's okay. Sorry, everybody. That's my daughter.
Get it out now. Fuck. Shit.
No, it's that's my kiddo. It happens every once in a while on this channel. But no, I almost feel like in that scene, she felt like she had to shoot at him because I honestly felt like if she would have let him out, he would have thrown her in there. It was that point that he was
Oh, I
testing
don't
her.
No,
I
don't-
honestly
yeah,
think that.
I think I think his devotion to her is so overwhelming for him. He'd lie down. She's the one thing he'd lie down in traffic for. I didn't think that, but to me, it almost was like, again, it goes back to Michael Corleone. It was almost exactly like they might as well have had a train going over the sound effect of the train as they zoom in on Al Pacino's face as he shoots
Yeah.
the.
I mean, this is the same guy in a different franchise that was willing to basically erase all of reality just to bring his wife back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just the take I took from it. It was great drama. It was a great part of the story, but then also bring in that element, him going back to Josie's, and then figuring out that someone must have hired Miss Fisk to take him out, and she chose Bullseye to do so. Like things like that, I think, and I'm hoping we'll get more answers from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, even though this scene was one of these actors was used as a plot device for Matt, I still didn't mind the scene where he's supposed to they're meeting, him and his partner are meeting with this client, and he basically calls his client on his bullshit because he's just so fed up with the system. Like it's a plot device obviously used to help fuel his thoughts on the system even more, but I think it just again I don't think they're being a dead horse, but trying to drive the point home too much. I don't think they are, but I personally really like the scene because it just shows how fed up he is with everything, just showing how much, and even then now, like I guarantee you that reporter who got his hand put in a frying thing will come out. Then that will about the task force, huh?
No, I think that was a throwaway scene.
Honestly, I feel like that will
He's gonna come back with for revenge. His name will be Burnhand. I'm Burnhand.
It's what because to me, like from all that's happened, like from an assassination attempt on his life to all that, I feel like he's almost going to declare like martial law and have his task force take over the town. And so, like, to stop vigilantes and stop from misinformation coming out because things like that. I have a feeling that's when the episode 9 is going to come in, and then Daredevil and Frank are going to take the task on to stop him. I think that's where that's heading personally.
it would be interesting to me if we're seeing Matt kind of, especially with the whole Foggy stuff and him kind of coming to a realization about who killed him, if Matt starts slipping into his more violent tendencies and again going after Bullseye. We've already seen him try to kill him once, him to go after that again, and it be Frank that kind of pulls him back from that.
That would be good
of all people, because
that would be a great thing.
A great little.
I don't mean to discount that. You might be right. I just don't know why Frank would do that. It'd be like,
because I think Frank has a respect for what Daredevil sort of stands for, and while Frank is willing to go to that extreme,
he doesn't want nobody else to go there.
Well, I don't think
like,
it's that he doesn't want
bam.
anyone else to do that. I think he knows that if Daredevil does that, if Matt does that, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, and he respects Matt too much as a friend to let him do that. I agree. I like that.
I'm not, again, I don't want to discount you guys how you feel. I think Frank thinks that everyone should feel the way he feels, and that I don't think he respects Matt in the sense that he does. I remember the scene where he says, "I was wrong about you being a pussy."
Well,
but
it's not.
But he doesn't respect the fact that he or anyone else doesn't just.
But also, it's not just that if you
he
look
doesn't
back,
have to respect the fact. He just knows
it's
that
not just. Go ahead. Sorry, James. Go ahead.
Matt's it would be basically violation of Matt's entire ethos to do that, and I think that there is enough respect between Frank and Matt for him to kind of realize that if he lets Matt go to that same extreme that he's willing to go to, that it will destroy Matt.
Well, it's also a callback to even the previous seasons of Daredevil or the Punisher. The Punisher does those terrible things so that others don't have to. You've seen in either of his previous seasons where someone was attempting to go
There's
that
more of a
far.
Wolverine thing than a Punisher thing. Like Punisher has no remorse for what he does.
But there's evidence of it. Like there's been plenty of scenes from the Punisher seasons or in Daredevil season 2 where like I can remember now from season 2 where they're at the boat and Daredevil's like, hey, if we have to kill some people, don't. He goes, no, I don't want you doing that, Red. That's not who you are. Or in Punisher's, I think it was Punisher season 2 where someone was trying to go as far as killing someone, like they were planning on it, and he basically talked him out of it because he said, no, that's something I should do. Like I will do for you. Essentially, I can't remember.
There's a funny scene where the girl Amy shoots a guy in the chest and he falls down. He's gasping for air.
That's
goes, oh my god! I killed him! He goes, no, you didn't kill him. I killed him.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. But that too, that's a small thing, but he doesn't want anybody. He's willing to take on that burden so that others don't have to.
Oh, speaking of that code, I wanted to talk about now. James brought up, well, why did he throw himself in front of Fisk? And he's probably gonna be like, well, and it very well might turn out to be that he did it because out of some like he's patching a plot. He's trying to do something. But I'm really terrified that it's just gonna be because that was the right thing to do, and it's fucking not. Because these writers so often, it might be this way because I've seen it happen with Batman. I've seen it happen with other superheroes. These writers conflate not killing with having to save. And there's a wide gulf between not killing someone and saving them. And there's an even wider gulf between not killing someone and putting your own life in jeopardy to really go out of your way and try and save someone who you know is a monster and will kill more people. I've seen a version of Batman where Batman throws himself out of a plane to save the Joker. And I'm like, horse shit. Like, knowing the Joker will kill dozens more people in the next few years, like, no, he's not going to kill him, but he's also not going to jeopardize his own life to save this piece of shit. Like, so I'm not, I think James might be right in that he's doing it if he has more ulterior motives. He's trying to I don't know if he's trying to gain some political points or something, or stage a narrative or something, but I'm really kind of terrified just to be like, because that was the right thing to do. It's fucking not.
Theory. It's none of that horse shit. Someone spilled a drink on the floor. Matt actually just slipped and fell in front of the bullet.
There you go.
The next episode is just going to turn into Scary Movie, and it's just going to be a complete joke.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm not sure on that one. I have theories, but nothing that's like solidified to the point where I'm like, it's a good theory. If that makes sense. For me, it's more like the long lines like maybe he didn't want him to die as a martyr of some way. Because he's all been about anti-vigilante, so if Bullseye kills him, who essentially deems himself a vigilante, then it would almost prove his point in a sense, putting a bigger bullseye on not only Daredevil but all the other ones who are, who hide behind a mask. So that could be another.
It will make it much harder for. I mean, I could see Matt having said that it, like by doing this, it kind of makes it harder for Fisk to try and kill me later because it's like, you owe me one now kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's something you can kind of hold over him, but like I don't think that's where they're going with it.
Wasn't that interesting though? Like he didn't even stop to make sure Matt was okay. Matt jumped in the way he did, and it fell in line with the character, but it's so interesting to see that. But I want to go back to another one here too. Like, how did you guys feel the scene went between him and Poindexter? Like, to me, that was a very emotionally fueled scene.
Was I supposed to know he's Daredevil? I'm confused, and maybe I'm forgetting stuff from season 3. But I didn't know he knew he was Daredevil at all.
I think he does.
Like, he's giving up the pretense of being a helpless blind man, and banging his head on the table and stuff. And
I have to rewatch season 3, but I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure. I can't be positive, but I'm pretty sure. But I mean, either way, like, what a very emotionally fueled scene.
I feel like that scene was further showing just Matt slipping and falling into the absolute rage that he may succumb to in the next episode. Again, nothing could come of that. I don't know. This show has been very unpredictable, so all of my theories have kind of gone by the wayside. So,
again, I'm sticking by my theory that this season wasn't going to have a full on arc. This is a duality of
No,
story.
it clearly wasn't. But like, it feels like they're trying to kind of
They're trying to do
make
something.
one happen
Yeah.
now. But it's like you're connecting the first episode and the last 2 episodes, but there's like 5 or 6 episodes in between that meant absolutely fucking nothing
Yeah.
in connection to those, and it's like,
I will say I will give it that. I will get now we still have another episode left, but I will say so far as the like Daredevil from Netflix, as far as the telling of a grand story from each season, it doesn't do its job. But I'm not giving it a pass just because I love it, but I am giving it a pass because I'm curious to see how season 2 will be, because season 1 they wrote it a certain way and started shooting it, and then they completely scrapped and then went back and rewrote and then started shooting more. So they kind of Frankenstein this together to make it what they tried to make it to be. So you can clearly see there's certain stuff that was from pre rewrite and then the rewrites that you had. So that's what but we'll see. Again, the other parts I wasn't too fan of. Like I wasn't too big a fan of like the kid being deputy mayor. I get it, but
Tony Soprano Jr.
yeah, and then just stuff like that. Yeah, it kind of bogged down. I mean, I get what they're going with it, and they're like the connection between him and BB. And I'm more curious. I want to see more of BB York than anything else. Like her breaking these stories and stuff like that.
I had hoped when they brought her in earlier in the season that she would be more of a Ben Urich type, because clearly,
because they killed
did
him.
she? Well, but Ben was also a great sort of foil for Matt again, where it's like he's serving a similar purpose to, and was very much a mentor to Karen, where he is sort of a moral compass and sort of a public sort of figure that can kind of keep Matt on the right path. And fantastic performance in the first season, and then he's killed off in an absolutely brutal way. And I'd hope that maybe BB very clearly meant to be sort of a Ben Urich 2.0,
right?
Very much following in his footsteps, but with a more sort of modern
Take.
Presentation on it, where it's like she's doing TikToks rather than just writing. But now they're developing this other side hustle, secondary pen name that she hasn't revealed yet.
Yeah,
I'd hope that she might perform, when we saw her early on, that she might perform sort of a similar role, but it seems like this may have been a later edition as well, where it's like they're sort of fitting it in, and you can cut in all of these little vignettes throughout to kind of pad things out, but like her character arc seems less sort of intrinsically involved, and I would like to see where it's going.
I'd love to see more of it in
I'd
season
hoped
2.
when she was brought in early on that she would perform that same sort of role as Ben for Matt, as opposed to for the sort of larger, covering the whole mayor storyline.
Right. And I'd love to see more of that, of her expansion of the character in season 2, especially like taking more of that role of, especially this alter pen person. What's that?
Assuming they don't just murk everyone this season.
Oh God, I hope.
Yeah, and all I want to see is some more fucking Daredevil action. I remember, like, was it episode 3? I was like, this is kind of cool. The show was really taking its time and trusting its audience to be patient, and
we got impatient.
And then now it's like, holy shit! Like, this is episode 8, and like I think this episode had like nothing. No Matt suiting up and kicking ass. Like, it's like, it's called Daredevil, not Matt Murdock.
Which is so interesting, because I remember season 1, he didn't even don the Daredevil suit until the last episode.
But he still had the black tights that he was going.
Yeah,
like,
true.
He was doing the action stuff.
He still had season 1, episode 1 had like the first. Winner.
Great.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Legendary,
But yeah, I mean, I totally get it.
I did see. Speaking of the oneers, the one that he did this season, not to suggest another channel, but the Corridor Digital crew, who are very famous for their visual effects, do breakdowns of visual effects, and did a bit of a breakdown on that fight and showed some of the ways that they kind of hid the transitions between takes. So it's not a true oneer, but it's actually kind of interesting watching them break that down. So if you are at all interested in how things are sort of edited with visual effects these days, I highly recommend their stuff. Great insights into all kinds of stuff.
I'm gonna have to check that out. And the last thing I didn't quite like, I mean, I've said it before, I don't like the the relationship between Matt and his girlfriend, and the friction that's happening there. I mean, she is going through some PTSD that she's not willing to admit, but I think it also just doesn't help that she essentially called him a child to his face, and that part was very interesting.
I also feel like the PTSD would be like a great plot point to kind of develop, but it's like there's nowhere to develop it at this moment, and it's like so many little things that they just keep leaving on the floor. It's like,
Yep.
I really wish like a lot of the stuff had happened sooner. We eschewed some of the like nonsense in earlier episodes and just kind of focused on these plot points that we're now getting, but
Yep.
are not going to develop anywhere because it's like,
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Ryan fell. No, my
I
hope
keep-
is though is
I,
that
I,
not
I
this.
hate beating the dead horse of like how frustrated I am with this season. There is a lot I'm enjoying, and I feel like I'm focusing a lot on the negative, but it's like I'm just so frustrated, and it's like there's stuff here that works.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff here, and there's some stuff that could be really well done, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand what the direction of all of this has been, and
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to love here. Like I love the confrontation between Matt and Vanessa. That was incredible. Like I almost thought he was going to kill Vanessa there for a minute. Not Matt, but Bullseye. But yeah, I overall though I did enjoy the episode. I enjoyed it a lot actually. I'm not a fan of that relationship. I'm just hoping at the end of the season, this season 1, that they'll break up. And I hope she doesn't find out he's Daredevil. Honestly, I really don't. Even though I think that's where it's headed. I'm just excited. I honestly feel like the episode 9 is gonna be like an hour and a half long. I don't know if they've released the run time yet, but I have a feeling it's gonna be a long one, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Well, your guys' overall
I wouldn't
thoughts?
be surprised if it was a short one because they're just out of story to tell, and it's just okay. Let's get into the action. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
finish your story, please.
yeah. But
We
overall
got Last
thoughts,
of Us
James?
season 2 and Andor coming up, so I've got other things to watch now, guys.
Overall thoughts though, coming into the last episode.
Everything to be said.
Fair enough. Let me see.
Yeah.
I want to see if they'll show.
I doubt you can find the runtime, but
Yeah, it won't tell me. Yeah,
We'll
it
find out
doesn't-
when the episode drops.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, it doesn't want to tell me. That sucks. Okay. All right, folks. That is for today. Thank you so much for watching. More importantly, though, what did you think of Daredevil episode 8? Leave your comments in the section below. Give us your predictions for episode 9, what you thought was good, what didn't work. And also, if you like what you watch, you like what we provide here, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to receive all of our great content we have for you right here on Real Time. So thank you, baby. Yeah, tell them to subscribe. That's all we have for today. Again, I am Josh Williams.
I'm Ryan Murphy
And I'm James Sheridan.
And thank you for keeping it real.
with Real Time.
Good night.